Cambridge Analytica, that is what is out there. It is said that Cambridge Analytica could have participated in the manipulation of the Kenyan election in 2013 and 2017. What has reached us via Channel 4, a media outlet in the UK, is frightening. What we know from that expose is enough to make us get worried. And yet, there's every possibility that more than this revelation and admission by the people in that company, there could be a lot more that would then scare us. Cambridge Analytica was also said to have participated in the manipulation or alleged manipulation of the US election in the election of Donald Trump. Kenyans have a reason to worry. First, because at the heart of any sovereign is the election of president. If in the process of the election of president, manipulation of this magnitude is said to have taken place, then the citizens of a country will be worried. And indeed, Americans are worried about this and the possible involvement of Russia. And therefore, as Kenyans, we are justified if we begin to ask questions. We are also justified to be worried because, one, we are now living in a digital age. And if people can mine information about the people of a country, especially in a country like Kenya, where we are talking about e-citizen, where we are going digital everywhere, where we are beginning to take digital information about our children in our schools, including the information about their parents and guardians, we ought to be worried as Kenyans. We also ought to be worried as Kenyans because Cambridge Analytica is a foreign company. If foreigners can participate in a clandestine manner in the election of a president of a country, the citizens of that country must be scared. Also, as Kenyans, we ought to be worried because, like I've said before, the stability of our country will be ensured if our elections are credible. Our elections will be credible and assure us of stability and peace if two things happen. One, that you win an election free and square. If you don't win an election in a free way, you may be sworn in as president, but a lot will follow you. And as a lot of these things dog you and follow you, the citizens of our country may not know peace. As we speak today, people have lost their property in this country through demonstrations. People have been maimed, tear gassed. People have been killed. And therefore, I think going forward, as a country, we need to ensure that we do everything possible to ensure that whoever wins freely. In order this to happen again, as Kenyans, we must demand of our leaders that elections are conducted in a good manner. Because if you do not win free and square, it will be very difficult to protect that kind of victory. In the process of trying to protect that victory, there will be a lot of suffering for the country. The economy will go down. As we do know, it is this handshake that is beginning to change things. But in order for us to have sustainable peace, sustainable development, we must handle our past, including this Cambridge Analytica thing, by kind of going deep into it, not so much to look for people to punish, not so much to apportion blame, but as a way of closure. This also brings me to something that we must address as Kenyans. If this handshake is going to benefit us, is going to bring the sustainable peace and development. And this is bringing a closure to the election of 2017 by doing a number of things, top on the list of which I think it's time we open the servers. Let's open the servers. Let Kenyans see what happened. And we shall do that not with the intention of changing anything, not with the intention of blaming anybody, but as a way of guaranteeing that we are bringing everything to closure, we are moving forward. The second thing I want us to do as we rip from this handshake is to ensure, like I've said before, that this handshake between two individuals is a Kenyan handshake. It becomes a Kenyan handshake if we bring everybody on board. To do that, we must first bring those who are left out and yet ought to have been there. We accept the reason given by our two leaders, that it had to be the two of them. These things happen in that manner in many ways and in many places. But it's now time to bring the others on board. It is time for William Ruto to be on board. It's time for William Ruto to be on board together with Moses Wetangula, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi. And by the way, I urge my brother Musalia Mudavadi, my brother Moses Wetangula, my brother Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, not to begin the tours that I hear they are beginning today, to give this handshake a chance. But for that to happen again, I urge the President and Raila Odinga to bring their brothers on board. This handshake is a good thing. Finally, as we celebrate the handshake, I must repeat the need for us to bring everything to closure by looking into what happened to our elections in 2017, by opening the server, and by looking deep into this Cambridge Analytica thing. I also believe some people will have to admit, to tell us the truth. We shall forgive them and bring everything to closure.